Shane, where were you, man? Where were you? We were waiting here. We were worried sick.
Time flies, man.
Walmart parking lot.
No, I don't like Walmart jokes.
You getting a turkey?
Tonight would be the night to do that. They closed at 3:00 this afternoon down here.
Well, I mean, there also was a.
Oh yeah, you guys have fake Thanksgiving this week.
Yeah, you guys had yours like last month, right?
Yeah.
Wait.
We have real Thanksgiving in October, and you have fake Thanksgiving in November. Although, to be entirely honest, I like yours more because my Thanksgiving is mostly dealing with like some relatives who I deeply love, and then other relatives who I also deeply love, but they yell racist things. Whereas your Thanksgiving, I just get to watch football alone. So I think it's actually better.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like our Thanksgiving was any different for us.
No, your Thanksgiving is the same for you.
No.
But I don't have to deal with your family or my family. So like if I was to power rank it, it'd be like number 1, dealing with only watching football. Number 2, dealing with my family. Number 3, dealing with y'all racist American families.
Yeah, I get this is fun. So my brother-in-law is an African-American gentleman, but he's conservative beyond belief, and I just want to punch him in the
Senator
face.
Tim Scott?
No, and I just want to punch him in his face every time he opens his fucking
Is it Herschel Walker?
Religious intolerant, fucking xenophobic, some other words that I can't say on air, ass, because 50% of this country is just racist pieces of shit that also don't like gay people, and then teach you that it's okay to kill gay people, and then they go shoot up a club, and they give you thoughts and prayers.
I'm going to bring it back to Thanksgiving. My wife's in there cooking right now, and she decided she was going to cook a couple pies and threw one of the pies on the ground.
On the ground?
It was
That's fine. I would still eat it.
That's what I did. So that's what I was good for you. And I sent her back to the store to go get more pie crust so that she could cook a new pie for the guests tomorrow.
I love that.
Wait. Why did she throw it on the ground though?
She didn't mean to. We have a small little dog and decided to run up under her feet at the same time, and she just kind of it went over, and I was like, oh, that's still good. 10-second rule.
At least for a pie, it might be 20 seconds.
It might be.
Was it pumpkin pie? Because pumpkin pie is like a 1-second rule.
It was not a pumpkin pie. It was a Oreo pie. So that was definitely worthwhile going after.
Oh, dude!
I kind of felt like the little dog and I actually bonded there for a minute.
So did the dog get to eat any of the pie?
You got to lick the floor at least.
He did get some of the whipped cream.
Okay.
Well, all right. So, let's go.
I mean, I shared. I share.
This is Fantasy Intervention. Now here to intervene with your fantasy life, Shane Manila, Jakob Sanderson, and Chase Vernon.
Shane, I figured it.
Oh my God!
My name is not on there no more. I know why my name's not there no more. My name is nowhere near as.
Not on the show anymore.
It's not as cool as none of y'all's.
If I were you, I would just leave the show. If ever they ran the intro, well, no, actually, this wouldn't happen because I would never pay attention enough to even notice it.
Good for Jay.
Oh my God! All right, welcome on into
no fantasy takes without representation.
I'm going to leave the show too.
Without representation, yeah, I'm going to leave it.
Jay.
Support Jay. I'm supporting Jay. Wait, how do I
don't have the power. It doesn't seem
oh
like
my
I have the power to leave.
Oh my God. Welcome on to Fantasy Intervention, guys. It's just myself today doing a fantasy intervention show. We are going to talk about some fun things. We're going to talk about some fun things like how much Jacob and Shane suck ass and how they're backstage laughing their asses off right now as I flounder through this intro, trying to figure out a way to entertain you guys for an hour while I talk about myself. Now, back when I first started this podcast, I actually had 3 episodes a week talking by myself, so I don't think it'll be too difficult, but I'm going to go ahead and bring them back in just to make sure that we do have some entertainment. Oh man, Jay, you missed it. They all left the show because you left the show.
Yeah, we did it in solidarity.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're not. Look, I need you to know that I might be management in my real job, but when it comes to the fantasy world, I am totally against management, which is Chase Vernon.
You don't do management whatsoever. You don't even do self-management at that point.
What are you talking about? I'm a pretty high senior level manager.
No,
in real
I
life,
meant when it comes to fantasy football.
And I
You don't manage your show sheet. You don't manage your tweets.
He decides who to trade. He decides who to cut. He decides who to start.
He does not manage his fantasy. If you send Shane a trade, he'll just take it. He'll just take it because he wants to trade.
Well, that's incorrect. That's incorrect.
I don't know. I heard about your birthday shenanigans and how you made like 20 trades that day.
Well, that sounds. I should have come down to
He
America
calls Scott.
for Shane's birthday.
All right, welcome on into
Scott
Fantasy
Connor
Intervention, guys.
Scott doesn't.
God, we are doing this show, okay? We have so much stuff to talk about with Thursday night. I mean, Thursday's Thanksgiving games, a bunch of the news coming out. I mean, there's just a lot to cover. So let's get this thing kicked off. I'm going to go ahead and skip last week's standings just because we pretty much all sucked outside of Jason and Derek Carr. Jacob hit Olave, and I guess I hit Antonio Gibson. But let's go ahead and hop into the news and notes because we don't have any bye weeks this week. We do have the Thanksgiving games. So are you guys nervous about rolling any players out with the injuries that are happening? Like, the Darius Slaytons, for example, of the world, right?
I'm always nervous rolling out
Michael
Darius Slayton.
Gallup.
He's Darius Slayton.
But if you have an injured player on your team that has a chance to play, right? If you have a guy that's borderline coming back, are you going to go play a guy that you're nervous about playing for the Thanksgiving games because there are 3 games out there? Are you going to try and hold off on some of these different outcomes based off of previous year's Thanksgiving games? Jacob, go ahead.
I don't know. I think it depends on the people. That I wish I had a better answer, but I don't know. It's like, it depends. Do I think the person's going to play or not going to? Like, what would be an example? Like Mike Williams versus Darius Slayton?
Yeah, let's do Mike Williams versus Darius Slayton.
Okay. Like, I think it would probably depend on what kind of league I'm in and who my next best alternative is. I think ideally I'd kind of want to wait it out, but I'm the worst person to ask this to because last week I thought Kyler Murray had a 50-50 shot to play. And so it came down to whether I wanted to put Samaje Perine in my super flex or Kyler Murray. And I decided to hold out and wait for Kyler Murray, and Samaje Perine put up 30. So that's where I ended up. And I didn't answer your question. I just wanted to tilt about the Samaje Perine experience. But yeah, I guess what I would say maybe though is we don't know where fantasy points come from. So put in fucking Samaje Perine on Thanksgiving and start Darius Slayton.
What about like a Leonard Fournette, right? Leonard Fournette has a good chance to play this week.
Like, if he plays. That guy's stapled to my bench with his sore hip.
Okay. All right. Is anybody playing Leonard Fournette this week or holding out hopes that he plays instead of playing, I don't know, what's another running back that's playing Thanksgiving that might be iffy?
Oh, but that's Thursday.
I'll play Singletary. I'll play
DeAndre
Jamal Williams.
Swift. He's always iffy. DeAndre Swift.
I'd rather play Swift than Fournette, I think, this week.
That's actually a good one. Swift or Fournette?
I would play Swift only because Rashid White was taken. Rashad White was taken. I don't know. Rashid. I'm thinking of Rashid
Wallace.
Wallace, yeah.
Wallace.
Anywho, Rashad White is taking his job anyway. So this would be one of the few.
This is the Rashid, right? This one?
One of the few times that I'd play DeAndre Swift over anyone.
All right. What about let's talk some Justin Fields news because I'm just hearing about this for the most part, how they're talking about benching Justin Fields for the rest of the season. Axel comes in the chat. He wants to know himself. How do we feel about Justin Fields moving forward?
As far as the rest of this season, right?
Yeah.
Talking about, I mean, I don't know. His coaches, and this is what I'm loving. Coaches are telling us that injuries are now like they could be season ending or they could play next week. Like, dude, like,
well, we're getting closer to the end. Those things are getting closer together.
Those are not the same thing. I mean, it's not his throwing shoulder. I assume it would affect him running a little bit. But once you get on the field, they
give you a shot and you're good to go.
Well, that and your instincts take over.
Either that or you get 30% of the carries and split with Justin Jackson and Jamal Williams.
So,
my concern with Justin Fields is, it is his running, because if he does take that one hit on the wrong side, he could be done for the year.
Could.
I
mean, my thing is, like, folks, we aren't playing Justin Fields to throw the ball. So anything that's going to reduce his
No, we are not. Nobody has ever played Justin Fields to throw the ball. That is a lie. Everybody plays him because he's running 170
we're not playing
yards.
him to throw, right? Like, it's like if this was Tom Brady had an injury in his non-throwing shoulder, I'd be like, well, who gives a shit? But if Justin Fields runs less, because of this, then the entire point of Justin Fields is to run. So I'm nervous about it. Yeah.
Obviously, the team knows that you don't have a secondary quarterback, right? Like if you're in a 2-quarterback league, right? Or maybe you're in a single quarterback league and you want a top-end quarterback, but Justin Fields ends up going out. The guys on the waiver wires, the guys like Jared Goff and stuff, so they can charge you more. Would you go out and would you get another quarterback right now if you have Justin Fields, just to make sure that you're not kind of pinned into a corner based off of need?
This is a redraft superflex league you're talking about?
We could say superflex. We could say it's redraft in single quarterback, and you just want a top end tier.
Then no. If it's single quarterback, I'll just stream until Fields is ready to rock.
Okay, Shane, what about you, man?
I stopped listening. It was really boring me. Justin Fields, do I play him the rest
How
of this year?
How are you bored with Justin Fields?
Yeah, I thought we talked about this already. The dude's injured. Look, if I'm starting him, right, this is the fun thing about fantasy football. It's not like when I hit submit lineup, it's stuck that way for the rest of the year. So if I run him out there and he happens to get hurt, shit happens. That's life. I'm fine with that. And then I'll roll out someone else the next week. We're still basing it on upside, right? Do I want to throw him out there or Jimmy G? I'll probably go Jimmy G, because Jimmy G has the yak monsters that just make him, they don't make him look good. Nothing makes him look good except, he's a good looking dude, but as a football player, he's ass.
Subway.
But he has 3 yak monsters that, boost his numbers. So if given that choice, I'll go Jimmy G. But if my other choice is Marcus Mariota, who is god awful at football no matter what, then I'm going to go with Justin Fields.
Well, Shane, the more so question,
the top 12 quarterback this year.
So more so the question, Shane, is if you're sitting there and you're making a playoff run, right, and you want a top tier quarterback, you don't feel confident about what's on the waivers, would you go to try and acquire another top tier quarterback right now ahead of time to make sure that you're secure and that your league mates don't use leverage on you to try and charge more to receive something back? Like, are you going to try and acquire another top tier quarterback right now, or are you going to see what happens?
Well, first of all, there's only 8 top tier quarterbacks in the NFL and fantasy football. So I'm always trying to acquire those guys anyway. But if I already have 2 of them, no, I'm not going for a third, because that's going to be cost prohibitive and I'm going to use too many assets at that position. And yes, I can trade one of them in the offseason, fine. But I'm thinking that the assets that I'm going to give up now are going to end up actually hurting my team. So, it's great that I can throw him out there. Let's say I trade for Jalen Hurts. Unfortunately, I had to give up Jamar Chase and Ramondre Stevenson. And now I'm starting Devontae Smith and Tyler Algier. You just do the points. It's just not worth it in that case.
All right, I'm going to go to you, Jay, for this question. Melvin Gordon gets cut. He goes unclaimed. On his way out of getting cut, he decides to post this bizarre post with him riding a Bronco away from the Broncos from the cops. I mean, it was like Antonio Brown.
You don't know what that.
That was the OJ.
Yeah, I know what it was. It was OJ.
No. That was the OJ Bronco. He was driving OJ.
Yeah, it was OJ.
Yeah, it was still very weird.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's. I know what it was. It doesn't make it any less weird.
It was hilarious. I loved it.
Okay, but
it was hilarious. It was, absolutely.
Might that have something to do with teams possibly staying away from him in combination with the Broncos randomly cutting him and not wanting to play him in certain situations? I mean, it just seems like there's something going on behind the scenes that the Broncos knew about.
Okay, what about the stuff that's in front of the scenes, which is that he's been the worst running back in the NFL?
What, on a terrible team with that has been completely abysmal on offense?
He got outplayed by Latavius Murray, who qualifies for Social Security in 38 states.
He fumbles every 2
Aren't they the same age? They got to be close to the same age.
Larry's older.
Okay, this is not a point in Melvin Gordon's favor. I'm like, he was really bad. And then you're like, yeah, but he's old. And it's like, yeah.
I didn't say he was old. I just...
That's what I said.
All right. So
I think this thing was
all right, Jay's lagged a little bit. So
Jay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I guess I'm a little lag.
So here's the deal, though. Like, Benjamin, who I love, right? I love Benjamin.
Lagging, so
he has 4 teams put in a waiver claim for him, right? No teams put in a claim for Melvin Gordon, and he's still sitting out there on free agent waivers. Do you think there's something else going on that is Antonio Brown-esque that we didn't see? So. I mean, it was a bizarre post. It's a bizarre situation. I know that he fumbled. I know he wasn't good, but it just seems like there's something else here as to why another team wouldn't grab him to be their 3rd running back.
I think his PFF grade is 49.1.
So if you bring in a running back, right, that's not particularly effective at running the ball or in receiving, you want him to at least hold on to the ball when you give it to him. So I'm going to say that's all it takes. Like we've seen in the league, like Antonio Brown was in the league until he pretty much forced himself out of the league. If you can play, someone's going to roster you regardless of what you've done. There's been actual murderers on football teams that, have run people over and killed the mother drunk driving, and teams have employed them after that. So as long as that Deontay Stallworth accidentally killed a dude and then played football after that. If you have any value to a football, like immediately after that. If you have any value on a football field, the team's picking you up.
So, all right. I get what you guys are coming from, right, when it comes to the value and whatnot, but we just saw David Johnson get picked up by the Saints. Right. So, like, why isn't he worth at least a David Johnson-esque value?
Because here's the 2 primary ways that I try to measure some semblance of running back talent. I look at rush yards over expectation per attempt. The only player ranking worse than Melvin Gordon is Cam Akers in the entire NFL. Ironically, 3rd to last is Latavius Murray, but Melvin has him by a good chunk. And then I look at PFF rushing grades. Out of 123 qualifying backs, Gordon ranks 120th. The only ones behind him are Kevin Harris, who's played 9 snaps, Chase Edmonds, and Mike Davis. Like, dude is absolutely washed. I mean, I love Melvin Gordon. He had a phenomenal career. He compiled a lot of fantasy points. I appreciate him greatly for winning me fantasy titles. Dude washed.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for giving me some sort of content there. Thank you very much, Jacob. All right, let's go ahead and let's hop on to a question from Axel. By the way, if you guys have questions, sorry to say questions are somewhat difficult for us to answer without having injury results in front of us, but we will do our best to give you guys the best insight. We have Choose a Flex, Jeff Wilson Jr., Darnell Mooney, Isaiah Pacheco, Garrett Wilson. Mooney has a tough matchup this week. I'm benching him everywhere. I don't want to play him up against the Jets. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game in a very, very low output overall in terms of fantasy points on the offensive teams, especially if Fields ends up missing time. Jeff Wilson Jr. has been great. I would love to play Jeff Wilson Jr. Yeah. Isaiah Pacheco had a great game, but still no fantasy points. Garrett Wilson had a tough matchup last week, but we've seen him, be a stud. Maybe he's a stud with Mike White. Me personally, I'm going Jeff Wilson Jr. But do you guys have any different take on what I just added to the conversation?
I'm with you.
Yep, I'm with you.
Shane?
Look, when you rarely make a good point, I'm not going to argue against you.
That's the most backhanded of compliments possible.
That's
such a backhanded compliment. I'm not even sure it qualifies as a backhanded compliment.
Oh my God. All right. I'm
tired of Kyler
Murray. In my 20 team, this is a 20 team, 1 quarterback dynasty league.
Dump his ass.
How do I dump his ass? Like in terms of trade, are you targeting Dak? Are you targeting Trevor Lawrence in order to get rid of him? And honestly, like, does he even have that value at this point? Because they're talking about him not being in Arizona next year.
He'll be in Arizona next year.
I think he'll too.
Here's the thing about all these quarterbacks. Has anyone ever actually tried to write out 1 to 32 the quarterbacks, like, and who's going to be where? Like, Jimmy G is going to get like $30 million next year. Jared Goff from the Jets get like $25 million. Like, it is bad, folks. Kyler Murray his job it's very safe. John, my advice is that you reach out to other owners in my league, because I've been trying to buy low on Kyler Murray for a month. I've been thus far unsuccessful. I would like you to inherit the teams with Kyler Murray, and I would like you to dump his ass to me. And that's what I would like you to do.
So in other words, you're trying to acquire
I'm
Kyler Murray at this
definitely
point.
trying to acquire Kyler Murray in Dynasty, yes.
Because we haven't even seen him, by the way. We haven't even seen him with Hopkins, with Marquise Brown, and with Rondo Moore all in the field at the same time. Like, this could be an absolute storm for fantasy. And I understand the hate for him, but I think he's at least playing
Chase,
this week.
I know that I'm not normally this guy, but I'm going to buzz in the role of schedule correspondent. And his remaining schedule, he gets the Chargers this week. Then he gets New England and Denver, which are tough matchups. He finishes out with Tampa Bay and Atlanta. And he's going to have Hopkins back. He's going to have Marquise Brown back. He gets 3 out of the 5 are big plus matchups. I like the Kyler Murray. I like the Kyler Murray rest of the season. I think we're going to have a big bounce back from him.
Jay, do you have a take on this?
McBride. Yeah, don't forget about McBride. And to be quite honest, I don't think he's going anywhere. It's just too much money. In 2 years, I think in 2 years from now, I think his cap hit's like $36 million. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that cap hit. And so, yeah, Kyler Murray's not going anywhere. And I'm like Jacob, though. I've got him in a couple leagues, and I am trying to acquire him in more because he's a talented dude, and he's fixing to have all of his weapons. We'll talk about Jimmy G later on, but Jimmy G's got a ton of weapons, and he's nowhere near as talented as Kyler Murray, and look what Jimmy G's doing. So, yeah, give me all the Kyler Murray I can get. If you can hold on to him, hold on to him.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about some of this injury news that happened. It was painful watching Wan'Dale Robinson go out, especially after I talked so poorly about him, and then he ends up going and having this amazing game last week, and then goes out with a torn ACL. Terrible, especially the time of the year, because now that's going to affect his value next year as well. He might not come back until probably a quarter of the way through the season. Then we also have Pitts, who is out for the rest of the season with the MCL. Is there anybody on either one of these offenses that you guys actually see having a boost for the rest of the season? Because for the Giants, there's nobody. For the Falcons, you have Drake London and nobody. Is there anybody that you guys actually see get a boost from these two players going out? Shane?
I wasn't listening. You're boring me. Who's out?
Shane, can you be a little bit engaged in the show, buddy?
I know.
Get up here.
Who's out?
Pitts and Wan'Dale.
Okay, so Wan'Dale Robinson tears his ACL. Pitts tears his MCL.
Darius
Other players are on those teams.
Yes,
who gets a boost?
Darius Slayton was already going to see a boost anyway. So I go, let's pull back Richie James from earlier in the year, a little retro action from earlier in the season. It should be Drake London, right, with Kyle Pitts going down, but I don't feel good enough to play anyone in that offense, not any of the receivers. Where's Demir Bird? Is that where he is?
Yeah, he's actually been doing well the past few weeks.
The dirty Bird, yeah.
Unfortunately, I've had I'm in a couple tanking leagues, and I got Demir Bird starting, and he's popped a couple times, and I'm like, what? Like, come on. But yeah, it should be a boost.
He's winning you weeks.
Yeah, you're like, dude, what are you doing? No.
I have a great Demir Bird story. I'm going to derail the show for the next 60 seconds.
All right, go.
This was. I remember when I first was writing for.
Shane gets a tune back out. Shane gets a tune back out for like another fucking 5 minutes before I get to the next question.
Hit the vape pen.
God, dude.
Chase might remember the story because this was back when he used to be my editor when I wrote this. But I was doing an article on 12 steps for rebuilding a roster, and I included this anecdote in one of them where it was like week 12, and I had Demir Bird on this tank ass team, and I entered Monday Night Football. The Patriots were playing the Jets, and I entered Monday Night Football down by like 3 against this guy who was fighting tooth and nail to make the playoffs. And so I go to him like, I will send you Demir Bird for a 3rd round pick, basically so that I don't have anyone that I can play in this spot so that he can get the guaranteed win. And he took it. And so that was how I actually got a 3rd round pick for Demir Bird one time in my life.
I like it.
Shane actually paid attention to that. Shane was listening to that whole story.
Shane?
That was a good story. I like stories. Stories are fun.
Oh my God.
Love you, Demir Bird. Love to talk bad about you.
All right, Jay, I'm going down to you on this one. We have Jameson Williams who's he's set to make his debut, right? Possibly. Is Jameson Williams somebody that you're picking up? Because we're going into the fantasy playoffs. Do you really want to rely on a rookie that hasn't taken a single snap all season in a brand new offense that, hasn't been good or even relevant as of late? Like, is Jameson Williams something that you're picking up and you feel good at any point playing unless he gives you like 3 consecutive bomb-ass weeks? Like, if he has a good week this week, would you play him again the next week?
I mean, the simple answer is no. You're not picking him up in redraft. I mean, you don't know what you're doing or what you're getting in redraft. Now, in Dynasty is a whole other story. But
he's on a waivers in Dynasty.
Well, there is that. But in redraft, you sit there and you look at the numbers and you're like, yeah. So Jared Goff is like number one in deep passes. And then you got to go back to last year in college and look, okay, Jameson Williams was number one in deep passes, in receptions. So, yeah, you think that could be a good matchup, but you don't know what the chemistry is going to be. You also have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you also have DJ Chark coming back as well, trying to get back into the mix. So in redraft, I don't think you can, but it's definitely somebody that you want to keep an eye on to see what's going to happen between now and, maybe a week from now or 2 weeks from now to go pick him up. And even if you stash him and if you have the space, depending on what your roster construction is, if you have the space for it, then yes. But if you're a short roster, I don't know that you can.
I mean, look, I've got Darius Slayton in my last roster spot in my very shallow redraft league, right? And that's after I just cut Wan'Dale Robinson because, well, we don't have time for injured players on that roster since it's redraft. And, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Wan'Dale Robinson's not going to come back. But
so Shane, are you going?
No, I think he will, Shane. If you think about it, a short leg takes less time to heal, so he can make it back in 3 months.
Sure.
Would you pick up Jameson Williams and drop Slayton?
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at the upside of them, the both of them, right? Neither of these guys should see my starting lineup. If they see the starting lineup, like all hell is broken loose and I'm just going for upside, and I'll take JMO on that. And I know he's never played it down in the NFL, but just going off of what he did at Bama, the dude looked transcendent. Now, I like the upside for that, and it's my last bench spot. I'm shooting for upside more than I am safety.
But I'll almost assuredly be drafting Jameson Williams next year in all formats, but I'm probably not rostering him over insert backup running back here, where I can just hope the starter
Tyler Algier.
Yeah, I'd rather just roster like whatever backup. Ideally, not guys like Algier. Like I'm mostly looking at guys where it's like they have the all-purpose skill set and their team runs one guy, and if that guy gets hurt, then they walk into touches. Like a Samaje Perine situation from last week. It's kind of where I'm looking. Like I'd be looking at guys like Isaiah Spiller,
maybe Ty Johnson.
He probably needs 2 injuries, right? Like I think Henderson now on the Jaguars is clearly one of those guys in a good spot. Spiller was one that I mentioned. Deion Jackson. Like there's a few guys I ran through them even in my column. But guys kind of like this Perine situation where it's like, oh, 1 injury away from all of a sudden you're auto starting them. That's probably where I'd look over guys like Jameson, unless you desperately really need receiver help. But I mean, we're talking about a deep threat coming off an ACL in the first 4 games of his NFL career with Jared Goff. Like, that's quite the bank shot.
Yeah, I mean, Shane, let's just hypothetically say, because I want to go back to you on this question, because you actually said you wanted to pick him up. Mm-hmm. We're going into the playoffs, right? So if he has 2 consecutive weeks, so let's just say 15 fantasy points, you're in the playoffs, and you're desperate for a wide receiver. Maybe somebody gets hurt. Like, are you possibly playing him in the 3rd week, hoping for that upside? Or is this something where you have to see 3 consecutive weeks and a good matchup in order to get him in there?
Dude, I need to see 1 consecutive week of giving me a reason to believe. If he's out there in the 3rd week, 2nd week, whatever, and he's running a route on, half the snaps, he's playing on 70% of the snaps, guess what? He's going in my roster. Or he's going in my starting lineup. That's fine. I mean, it's giving what your choices are. I'd rather do that than a low-end running back like Jakob was talking about Isaiah Spiller, right? Isaiah Spiller.
Yeah.
He's trash. If he's going to run out there and get you, like, if he really tries hard, like he's a try hard guy, he can get you 9 fantasy points.
I mean,
and, and
do you think Justin Jackson's good? Do you think Justin Jackson's good? Because when Eckler got hurt last year, Justin Jackson had 30 in the playoffs.
It's not going to happen this year. That's more the exception than the rule. So I'm just going to go wide receiver. Look, we just play differently, right? Like I like to go. I'm more adventurous than Jake. Obviously, I've lived a little longer.
It's like different kind of adventures. For me. Your kind of adventures is like you want to be at a fancy cocktail lounge with your young Jameson Williams ordering a dirty martini with extra olives, and I'm going dumpster diving. I'm like, oh, what is this? What is this big dumpster over here? I smell like warmed over meat, and then I'm like, oh, it's Latavius Murray. Yeah,
wait, is this like a Pretty Woman situation? Like, what's that movie where like he makes this girl super hot?
You can't get dates out of the dumpster.
But I can get Latavius Murray's.
Wait, Shane. Now
What was that movie?
are of all people can't say that, right?
Dumpster.
Right.
I barely even knew her.
All right, so
last thing on JMO is I think truly and honestly, this they just opened this 21-day window, so they gotta figure out what they're doing over the next couple weeks. If he does come out and play next week, the following week, whatever, we definitely, like Shane said, want to see what his snap share is, want to see what his route tree is going to be, because we're used to the JMO that's going to go deep. They can cut the nines, it can do the 7 routes and that sort of thing. And we don't know that we're going to get that with what the injury he had, so we'll have to see what he's going to do in the first week or two with both snap share time and what his route tree is.
So I'm skipping ahead in these questions real quick because this one just came in and it's a great question. How bad would ARS be hurt JMO? Yeah. Would he allow Detroit to baby Jameson or maybe vice versa? Like I kind of want to ask the question vice versa.
Consider this vice versa, whatever versa, dynasty, redraft, whatever. These guys don't hurt each other. They help each other. You could not find 2 players that are more separate in terms of how they're used on a football field. Amon-Ra has an 8 out of 6. His workload is primarily jet sweeps, screens, slants, dig routes. Like it's everything that's up for 0 to 15 yards. Jameson is a deep threat. Is it possible he takes a couple of the screen passes? That's possible. I personally did not think watching his tape coming out of college that he was honestly an incredible yards after the catch player in terms of the speed. I thought he was an incredible separator in the intermediate and deep areas. I'm not sure that he's going to be a guy that they're going to put into traffic all the time because he's so small. And so I'm just not sure that that's the guy you want consistently in traffic in short areas. I think that JMO is going to help open up space for Amon-Ra to be able to maximize his workload. I think Amon-Ra is going to be sucking up volume and Jameson's going to be getting high value targets down the field. But it's not like Amon-Ra is getting any of those now. Those are going to Khalif Raymond or whatever. It's just those are going to go to someone who's actually competent at them.
I think on the Detroit side, the one that it hurts if JMO comes back and is 100% healthy is DJ Chark.
As opposed to now when DJ Chark is.
I was about to say. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Ahead.
Oh, wait. That's a good point.
Let's cover our last piece of news, and then we'll hop on to doing our final segment, right? And it's actually once again good timing over here by Jamal. What's going on, Jamal? Thanks for coming in again. He's a little bit irritated because his dad just received Deebo Samuel for Akers. Is this veto worthy? And honestly, I don't think it's veto worthy.
No, that's spice up your face. I mean, nothing's veto worthy, but it's bad.
Nothing's veto worthy. Yeah, that's a horrible trade.
You're our
but
trade expert.
Veto.
Shane's our trade expert. He's our trade correspondent.
There's several things that caught my eye in this. It's church league, right?
Thou shalt not veto trades.
I was going to say so Shane's going to talk about a church league.
You should never veto. There's no such thing as a veto. What you do is you find a better league or tell your dad and the minister to stop colluding and being so obvious about it. But you don't veto trades. You got to leave this league if trades like someone's trading Cam Akers for Deebo
Would
Samuel.
you leave the religion?
But all right, so let's talk about why it's such a bad trade. Because honestly, I don't think it's that terrible considering the fact that
come on, don't even, please, don't.
Henderson left.
Don't do devil's advocate
There's
just because this is
else.
a church league. No,
there's nobody. Deebo hasn't got any work.
Dude, you got to be shitting me, right?
What is
Are you
Deebo on
kidding?
the season? What is Deebo on the season right now? What's his points per game?
I don't know. A lot more than Akers.
A lot more than Akers, dude.
What is Akers? Akers got the most points he got all year last week.
Deebo had more rushing yards last week than Akers.
Is
that actually true? No, it's actually not.
No, that's not true. Yeah. Dude, come on now.
Deebo has like 14.9.
He's 14 and a half. He's 14.4 and a half. He ran for, you're right. He only had 37 rushing yards, and Akers really smashed with 54 on 106 carries.
Yeah, I know it's 61.
And
it was the first game that he's been non-deplorable the entire year.
And he's not good. And Kyron Williams is the receiving back in that role. It's a split backfield. Kyron Williams gets the targets. This is a horrible trade. It's a terrible trade. Whoever made this trade needs to pray harder because it was a terrible, terrible trade.
I was literally just trying to play a little bit of devil's advocate.
Yeah, we know. We know your bullshit, Chase. We know your bullshit. You don't have time for it. You don't have the capacity to hear it or acknowledge it or treat it with respect.
Let's talk about Cam Akers. Is there an increased value here? Because Darrell Henderson was taking up some of the work.
Sure.
You don't think that he's increased his value at all with Darrell Henderson leaving town?
Okay, he increases value from being not rosterable to being not rosterable. I don't know. If
not rosterable.
Okay, he's not rosterable because he's the worst running back in the National Football League.
You loved Cam Akers.
I did. I liked him before he became a failed medical experiment who has proved to not work.
Oh my God, dude.
I once loved my ex-girlfriend too, but I'm not putting her in my lineup.
I did too. She was awesome. I mean, what?
What are the chances that McVay and Cam Akers rekindle their love and he moves forward like he did 2 years ago?
Then they'll flock together for 3 yards per carry.
Their offensive line is awful. They have no receiving weapons.
That's true.
Their quarterback is going to be Bryce Perkins.
Yeah, that's the place that you go for breakfast and get potato pancakes.
So, no, I want no parts of Cam Akers. That is a horrible trade. That is one of the worst trades that I've ever been privy to.
But you can't veto it.
No, you can't veto. You can't veto. There's such you don't play in leagues that veto. Vetoing is there. That's not a setting problem. That's a problem you have with the people in your league. You shouldn't be in that league with them.
I will say that if Stafford comes back at some point, I could see Kyron Williams having some PPR value, but that's about it. Here's the real thing: the Rams' backfield as a whole, as an entire backfield, as in all of their running backs, all of them have averaged 13.7 PPR points per game. So even if one running back got 100% of the carries and receptions, they're like a borderline mid RB2. That's less points per game than like Gabe Davis for the entirety of the Rams backfield. It's 5 points per game less than any other backfield in the NFL. It's just a broken offense. So like even if Cam or Kyron was to get the entire workload, I mean, there's been times this year that Hendo has had the entire workload and he's still been like a back end RB2 at best.
You know the Rams have like the best running back schedule for the rest of the season, I must, right?
What a waste.
Oh my God. It's insane how easy their schedule is.
Let's move on. This is hurting my feelings.
Let's get Malcolm Brown involved.
Let's go ahead and hop on to our final segment. We'll answer questions in between. We have players outside the top 15 for quarterbacks and tight ends that have a chance to finish top 10. And we have running backs and wide receivers that have a chance to finish top 12. So we're pretty much we're dumpster diving. We're trying to find these players that have a chance to win your league for you. This past week, I believe Jason took the win by a slight margin. Jake and I think, finished out the same, and Shane wasn't there for the season. Fantasy J is up. I'm in second, and then Jacob and Shane are a little bit lower down there. So
you can say that.
For the first one, Jason, you're up, man. Who you're taking for your quarterback position that you think is going to finish inside the top 10 this week?
Well, I don't know. I don't think we're doing playoffs between the four of us, but if we are doing playoffs, I stretched my lead out a little bit this week. So thank y'all. Thanks, Shane, for not showing up last week. But
there's only four of us, so all four of us
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Is this the Canadian Football League?
You get to be the one seed.
I'm still the one seed.
But you don't actually get anything out of that. So
I get to play Shane or you, who I've beat all year long.
That's fine. We've just been resting our players. We've been focused on health.
Man, I went back to the well one more time. I'm taking Jimmy G with, quarterback 20 on the year, but he's 9 games he's played this year. He's been a quarterback 1 5 times. And the low he's been as a quarterback, well, I can't say the low is 29. It's not great, but his high has been 25. So 4 out of the last 6, he's been a quarterback 1. He's getting TDs and not doing the dangerous thing of turning the ball over. So that's the reason I'm going with him. With the weapons he has, Deebo Samuel, CMC now. You got Elijah Mitchell back. You got Brandon Ayuk. You got Kittle. I mean, he has so many weapons. All he has to do is be a game manager and get them the ball. That is a yak team right there. They are getting yards after catch. He can throw it 4 yards. He can throw it 10 yards. It doesn't matter. They're getting 30 on every play, it seems like.
I don't remember a team that could get more yards after the catch than the damn 49ers. I don't think it existed when it came to a team. Like they're the best in history in terms of yards after the catch. All right, I'm taking Tannehill up against the Bengals. Tannehill's on fire lately. And the Bengals have actually been pretty good up against the running back this far. Meanwhile, sure, they're 4th up against the quarterback, depending on what your scoring is. But let's talk about the quarterbacks they faced over the past several weeks, 6 weeks or so. They faced Pickens, who just put up 265 yards and touchdown on him. Pickens hasn't done anything all year. Up against the Panthers, they faced Baker Mayfield and PJ Walker. Terrible. Jacob Brissett, terrible. Marcus Mariota, terrible. Andy Dalton, terrible. Lamar Jackson will put up rushing yards on you. But in terms of fantasy points to the air, yeah, we all know how that goes. Then they gave up, 300 yards to Teddy Bridgewater and Tua combined. They gave up 285 yards to Joe Flacco. They gave up 235 yards to Cooper Rush. The issue here has been they've kept quarterbacks out of the end zone to an extent, the Bengals have. If it gets into a game where we start to see a shootout again from the Bengals, the Titans are going to have to score. Like I said, they've been pretty good up against the running back. I think that Tannehill will get you fantasy points, who's been on fire as of late. Then that's Traylon Burks back, who has made a huge, huge difference in this whole offense. I like Tannehill this week. Jacob, who you got?
I got Taylor Heineke because the Falcons are crap. They're bad at defense, and that's what they'll be playing against Heineke, or rather not playing because they don't play it. And so Heineke's going to put up 3 touchdowns this week. He's going to finish the top 10 quarterback, and I'm going to get points.
I like it, man. I was going to take Heineke, and then I switched it last second. Shane, who you got?
Oh, let's go to Jay first.
Jay already went.
Jay went like an hour ago, dude.
Oh, shit. Let me look here.
Shane, how good? What
Shane's still looking.
What category?
What is
of porn are you
happening
watching
tonight?
here? As you
Tannehill,
consistently.
Heineke. Who did Jay pick? Oh, Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Chase picked Jimmy G. Heineke, Tannehill, Jimmy G. What I gotta go outside top.
What is happening?
I went with.
How drunk are you right now? He's laughing.
On the weekend.
Shane Wilson, are you letting your teammates down?
I told you he was in the Walmart parking lot.
He's like, no.
I apologize for nothing. I'm going with Mike White.
All right, we got the running back position. Jamal Williams is going to be Jason's pick. Tell us about it, Jason.
Man, this is 100% chasing points right here because they're up against the Bills, who do have a fairly good defense. But in the last 4 games, I mean, 6 touchdowns with less than 50% snap share. And he's getting the ball on the goal line. I don't know what's going on with DeAndre Swift. We talked about DeAndre Swift last week, and we still don't know what to do with him. Even though he scored last week, Jamal still scored, twice, 3 times, something like that. I'm not going to get any kind of PPR points because he's not going to be involved in the passing game. So I'm strictly going on upside, looking for the TDs. That's where I'm going. Jamal Williams, touchdown 3 times, 2 times, something like that. That's all I need. That's all I need from him.
I might be playing Swift over Jamal Williams this week. We got to see. I'm going on the opposite.
You would, you asshole.
I'm going the opposite end of this game. I'm taking Singletary. I'm taking Singletary up against Detroit. I don't think there's more obvious pick on the entire slate than to take Singletary. I mean, he's performed. He's been seeing red zone touches, which we have not seen up until recently. And now he's actually converting those red zone touches into touchdowns. Give me Singletary. He gets hot at the end of the year. They don't really use him in the playoffs, but that's cool. I'll take him for the fantasy playoffs. Singletary is gonna shine again.
All right.
How can I go?
I'm going to go with
Latavius
Murray.
Shane was totally trying to steal you.
Yeah, he was. I know he was.
So trying to get that.
He's a rat bastard. He's not to be trusted. Latavius Murray is a bag of crap. But he's a bag of crap that gets to play the Carolina Panthers for one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL. And he's going to get touches because Melvin Gordon took his Bronco out of town. Chase Edmonds is on IR. I don't think Mike Boone is back yet. He's also Mike Boone, so there's that. I think Latavius is probably going to get 16 carries and 5 targets, and he'll turn them into 40 yards, and he'll be an RB1.
All right, Shane, who you got?
Well, I wasn't planning on not having Latavius Murray, so you got to give me a second here. No, I'm just being a troll this week because, it can't work any worse than what I usually do. I'm going to go with James Cook because he's actually talented. And apparently the
Why
Colts
do you love Devin
decided
Singletary?
the way they needed to I do, but the way they needed to unlock James Cook was to trade for Nyheim Hines, obviously. Both Singletary and James Cook had 86 yards rushing last week. Just one of them did it on insane efficiency, and he had a couple targets. So I think what we're seeing is the usual bloodletting of Devin Singletary, where they try to just give the backfield to someone else, where Devin Singletary looks fine. He hasn't done anything wrong, and the Bills go, you know what? It'd be fun. Let's see what this trash can can do, except they don't have a trash can now. They have a good back there, James Cook. So give me Cook.
All right, Jason, who you got at wide receiver, man? Who do you think's going to finish inside the top 12 this week?
When you picked Singletary, I almost said it on camera that, I knew Shane was going to go with Cook. So he's been trying to build this dude up to something that he's not ever going to become. I don't know why you're doing that, Shane. You're building up your own discipline for you. It's like the Gabe Davis talk that you've been giving yourself. It's going to be good. He's going to be good. He's going to be good.
Well, he was good 1 week. Didn't Shane hit him on a 20?
Yeah, he hit him. And then he didn't show up the next week.
I hit on
him. And then Shane didn't show up.
He's
like, oh my God, he had a heart attack. I think he was in the hospital. Anyway, I'm going with the stack right here for the wide receiver. I'm taking Brandon Ayuk. He's wide receiver 16 on the year. I mean, since week 6, 5 touchdowns in 5 games. Like I said this a few weeks ago, Jimmy G's been looking for this guy, and the connection that they have is damn good. To give you an example, this dude has 39 targets since week 6. Debo only has 32. Kittle only has 32. So give me Brandon Ayuk, 2 more touchdowns this week, and we'll add another 2 more notches to my belt.
I'm taking Mike Williams against Arizona. I think the reason why he got dropped down so far is because of the questions with the injury.
Yeah, because you're going to take a 0 this week.
Because he can't jump. When he lands, he sprains an ankle like every other play. 2 out of his last 3 plays, he sprained an ankle. Just saying.
Wow, that is interesting.
It's a high ankle sprain rate. You know what I mean? I don't know. PFF doesn't give you those types of stats, but
that is a Shane Manila stat only. That is not PFF. That is Shane Manila stat.
Mike Williams plays through these injuries, man. He does, and I cannot take.
Except for the 4 games that he missed, but yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take Mike Williams and lock him in up against Arizona. Shane, who's winning in the standings right now? I'm just asking you.
Look, my job is not to bring insightful fantasy football. I save that for the rest of the shows I'm on. This show, I just bring the fun. I try to keep you guys happy. I'm like the fluffer, okay?
He said he's the fluffer.
So
I'm fantasy fluffer. You should change your handle.
FF_fluffer.
So,
I don't want
Jay to be the only one.
Has to change.
Jay can't be the only one with a stack, so I'm going to stack my dude Garrett Wilson with Mike White against Chicago, baby. Garrett Wilson season.
The stuffer is now stacking. Oh my Lord!
I'm going to take Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith saw 39% target share last week in his first game with Dallas Goedert out. We talked about this on the DFS show with H.A. Brown and Devonta Smith consolidating targets. They did. It's just that fucking Quez Watkins, that little bitch ass, got a touchdown, which was annoying. This week, that's not going to happen. It's going to go to Devonta, and he'll fluff you up with some fantasy points this week.
If you guys want to follow Shane, you can find his handle right there below his picture.
Why is it Fluffler? There's an L. It's Fluffler.
So sometimes when there's stuff in your mouth, the words don't come out as clearly as they should.
Oh my God! All right, let's go ahead.
Senator Leffler.
Let's go ahead and let's answer a couple of these questions.
Yes, Shane needs a break.
Oh my God! All right, Najee Harris with Latavius Murray, standard league. I'm going Latavius Murray.
Yeah, same actually.
I'm actually gonna, and look, you got to go with the hot hand, right? I'm gonna go with Najee. He looked like a good running back 2 weeks ago, and he went 10 for 99 or whatever he did. And then Jaylen Warren apparently is injured. So anytime Jaylen Warren goes down, and you can increase your opportunity share, like Najee Harris is gonna, I'm gonna have to go with Najee.
You don't think Betty Snell will be taking on a
I think
portion of the carries?
We have seen that story, and it has been bad.
All right,
I'm not sitting Najee at all. Take Najee.
Start 1/2 PPR: Dameon Pierce, Mike Evans, Jamal Williams. I'm not starting Jamal Williams this week. I'm not doing it. I'll take.
No, you're starting DeAndre Swift.
I'm taking Dameon Pierce, probably Mike Evans, maybe. Any other take on this, guys?
We'll do Mike
Evans.
Yeah, I guess I'll go with Captain 16% target share, but somehow I still keep scoring points. Michael Evans. I'll go with Michael Evans.
All right, we playing Fournette or Rashad White this week?
Rashad.
Yeah.
Sheed. We're going with Sheed.
I'm going with White.
We're going with White. All right. Let's see. Is Kadarius Toney? Oh, this is good one. Is Kadarius Toney keeper or drop?
I would keep Kadarius Toney. But if you value your mental health, you might want to drop him. But I don't.
He lost me so many leagues last week. I'm pissed at him. I'm so mad at him.
How many keepers are we talking about?
Well,
I don't think he actually means keeper. I think it's just like, should I hold him on my roster?
I mean, if it's a dynasty, yeah, you're keeping him. But if it's a keeper and it's like
it's not a dynasty, Shane. This is like Facebook and YouTube. It's never dynasty.
Yeah, you're not dropping Kadarius Toney in dynasty.
Do you see Scott Connor on the show? No, you don't.
I'm sorry. So no.
I'm still here.
What's on the wire? If there's something better, sure. But otherwise, just hold on.
Wow, that's really insightful, Shane. Should I drop this guy? Yeah, if there's someone better.
Well, I mean, come on.
That's Kadarius advice tonight.
So here's Kadarius Toney. Fine, drop him. You want to an actual take? Drop him.
I want to take.
Right?
There,
He can't stay on the fucking field. He has horrible hamstrings, and he's just a fake fantasy football asset. That's all I'll ever be.
All right, last question. We're going to tight end.
What's a more tangible asset of value? Cryptocurrency or Kadarius Toney?
Crypto. At least I know it exists, and it's always going to be bad. Tony tricks me into he has one good game, and I think he's going to be good. At least crypto's been straight down for 2-3 straight years now, so I know what to expect. It doesn't give me false hope.
All right, would you rather have DK, Pittman, Rashad White, or Mixon and Juju? So this is a trade question, Shane. You got to kick us off. Would you rather Mixon, Juju, or DK, Pittman, Rashad White?
DK and Pittman and Rashad.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same page.
I am as well.
Yep, Mixon probably might not play this week. Juju hasn't played.
Juju did practice full today.
Okay.
Yeah, he got full practice.
Oh, I'm gonna sneak in one more question from Jamal. He's getting up for the playoffs and he picked up Deshaun Watson. Okay. Herbert's been good, not great. Like last year, granted he's been without Allen Williams for a while. Should he stick with Herbert since weapons are back, or roll with Watson depending on the matchups? So pretty much is Herbert at every single week, or are we waiting to see what happens with Watson?
I would roll with Herbert obviously this week, and then next week is Watson's first week back. I would play Herbert instead of Watson in week 1, and then see how he looks, and then decide from there.
Yeah, he could be rusty. He could not have a connection. He could not work in this offense. We don't know what to expect. Maybe they run the ball, 40 times just to make sure that he's keeping himself safe. So Watson for me is a giant hold, probably for 2 weeks after he comes back. I want to see about week 15.
One thing I'll say, their offense has actually been pretty good with Jacoby Brissett.
Mm-hmm. It has.
Their defense has just been shit. But if their defense was good, they could easily have had 7-8 wins. So I don't know. I think that bodes well for Watson in terms of he's walking to a pretty good infrastructure.
Yeah,
I don't want to play.
I want to wait till week 15 to play him.
Yeah, I want to give him a week.
I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still going to stay with Herbert for at least the foreseeable future. But Deshaun has been at least in practice with the whole team for 3-4 weeks now. So there is that chance that he could, come out 2 weeks from now. Week 13 is when he's coming back. So week 13 and play a decent game, and you would play him again in week 14, starting your playoffs. However, you're still, it's still up in the air. I'm still with you guys. I'm with you as far as I'm starting Herbert over Watson right now.
Yeah, I'll start the Herb Daddy.
All right, Jason, give us your top a tight end outside the top 15 who has a chance to finish inside the top 10.
That would be Evan Ingram, probably going to be one of his worst matchups of the year. But he's coming up.
Has he ever not been mentioned on this show? Have we gotten through a single show the entire year where we haven't done Evan Ingram?
I don't think in 2 years, even before the Jason.
No. But see, wait. But you're talking about tight ends. There's not very many of them.
I'm not blaming you. We've all done it. We've all stuck our hand in that little cookie jar.
Yeah, we've all done it.
Yeah.
We're all
I know. That's what I'm saying. Is it's not like we have a big choice to choose from now. Especially with Zach Ertz now being out, we don't have a big. There's like 3 of them that we can choose from, and there's 4 of us. I'm just lucky I get the first choice.
Yeah.
I'm going Logan.
So
Thomas
I went Evan.
I'm going Logan Thomas up against the Falcons. The Falcons have been subpar up against tight ends. They've been brutal, but Logan Thomas is going to integrate it back in the offense. Yes. Seems like the Falcons, when they have a opposing tight end that gets utilized very heavily in the offense, that they focus down on those tight ends and they're able to prevent it. However, they have to worry about Terry McLaurin. They have to worry about Curtis Samuel. They have to worry about the running game. It's most likely going to leave Logan Thomas open. He's been running the routes to an extent. Like he is getting involved back in this offense this week. All he needs is a touchdown. I think he gets it up against the Falcons. I think that's a pretty easy call. And we know that Heineke loves him. So as he gets integrated more and more, we're going to see Logan Thomas move further into the top 10 each week.
I'm making a proxy bet against Logan Thomas in the sense that I think that Logan Thomas's spike week was because the Houston defense sucks against tight ends. And so this week, Mike Gesicki gets the Houston defense, and then I will take Mike Gesicki. But I actually like the Logan Thomas
you
call
said his
better.
Name wrong, according to...
Oh, yes, I did. I wrote Mike Gesicki on the show sheet because he sucks.
But you're taking him this week, but you said
I am. I'm looking forward to 40% route share, 3 targets, 2 catches, 10 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be in a ton of DFS lineups for the show this Friday, Jacob.
You know what's a bummer is that we have to talk about the boring ass Sunday slate. I'm probably not even going to play. I want to talk about the Thanksgiving slate. I want to do our show and go back in time because I'm going all out on tomorrow's slate. I don't honestly the Sunday slate. I could take it or leave it. We'll be there. I will this is a labor of love for me. I will be there for you, but I'm pumped for tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
There's nothing wrong with doing like an immediate show right after this for just
there's something wrong. I got ethics, bro. I got ethics, which means I will be paying attention not at all, and I will be working on my lineups for tomorrow.
That's what I'm getting at. So you may as well just do it from class from house.
All right, Shane, who do you have?
I'm going to go with Tremont McBride. My dude run a ton of routes last week. I think he finished right behind Hopkins on routes run. 4 targets, not a bad, what do you want to call that? I guess
target
debut. Really not a bad debut performance. Really the first time he's gotten to lead the way without Zachary Ertz there. And Ertz is IR'd, right? So we don't have to worry about
he's weirdly not, but
they haven't IR'd him
for the year. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Trey McBride. Look, tight end's ugly, so I'm gonna bet on the young sexy thing.
Young sexy thing. That thing. It's kind of crazy.
Miracles.
How many tight ends have made efforts to break out as rookies this year?
Sexy thing, you. No, we got.